fence riding.
All right, Mikey.
No fence riding.
No fence riding. Yes, if you ride the
Let's
fence,
go.
you lose in
Let's
this
go.
game. We have a six-pack of questions for y'all today.
I love
Only
this.
one unanimous answer, and these are what we determine in the production booth, the 6 most important questions that will play into the outcome of the Browns-Panthers game. So without further ado, let's run back our Week 1 edition of No Fence Riders. Question number 1. Will Amari Cooper have more receiving yards than DJ Moore on Sunday? And the answers, Bull says yes.
Oh, wow.
The other 3 say no.
Wow.
Bull, you want to
It's
defend yourself first?
I don't need to defend myself. These guys are embarrassing themselves with their no, so they should defend themselves.
We'll find out Monday.
I mean, Amari
Sunday.
Cooper, who's Amari Cooper going up against? The kid who's played 2 games in the NFL and got hurt?
It's not who he's going up against. It's
ability
who's
to
throwing
get him
the
the
football.
So what? Neither guy's being thrown to by a particularly great quarterback. I don't care.
But you've acknowledged that Baker has
I know
the
that,
edge
but
on
it's
this.
irrelevant. I care more about who's covering.
What
DJ Moore, what? DJ Moore's going to get off against Denzel Ward? A healthy Denzel Ward? No.
What have you seen from Amari Cooper
Zero.
ever?
Well,
in this uniform.
I don't need to see it in uniform. I've seen him in his career. He's a better player than DJ Moore, and he's got a worse cornerback on him. That
And
to me
he
is
had
a win.
better quarterback.
I know, but I got 2 things going in my favor.
Okay.
The DJ Moore has one thing. He has a better quarterback, but Amari Cooper's a better player and has a much easier matchup than DJ Moore's got to deal with Denzel Ward, one of the best corners in the league.
And it's raining.
So what?
It's going to rain.
But raining affects both teams. That doesn't do
Okay,
anything.
and they're probably going to run the ball.
I think the Browns are going to be more run heavy than Carolina. That's ultimately.
Okay.
I think Carolina has the better quarterback. I think we're going to run it more. That's
Carolina
why
wants
that's
to
why
run
I
too.
made my decision.
They run to
Jay,
win.
What was your rationale?
This was the hardest one for me because I originally was with you.
Yeah.
And then I flipped for kind of what you said. I think they're going to be run heavy. I think Njoku's going to be involved. I think it's closer between Amari Cooper and DJ Moore than you're making out to be. I think Cooper is descending and Moore is ascending in terms of talent.
I
where
don't
they're at in
believe
their
he's
careers.
descending. I think he just had a down year. I don't believe it's a trend.
I think he's on the wrong
I'm not
side.
saying it's that big a difference between the two. It is a big difference between who's guarding them, though.
You know, I think one of the things we're going to learn about Amari
Yeah.
Cooper's mental fortitude is he's taken some shots. He's taken some hits from the media, and a lot of people have said what you just said about him. He's on the wrong side.
Yeah.
And if I want a player that when he hears that, he's hell-bent on proving everybody wrong.
Sure.
So let's see.
All right, Mike,
let-
we keep
show
track
us.
of this.
I can't go in with a clear conscience being like, I have not seen Jacoby Brissett throw a pass to you. You came off a down year. It's raining outside. You're on the road.
But they're both. It's raining for both teams. What does the rain have to do with it? The Panthers are looking to run too. Jim just told you they want to run the ball.
If that's a 10%, and you got a backup quarterback throwing you the ball.
That was key for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was key
But you
for
guys
me.
have disregarded the coverage by the corners.
No, I took that into account.
All right.
I took that into account. Here's the other thing. I think one thing that works in your favor is I believe the Browns have 2 viable targets. I do. I think Njoku and Cooper are going to be widely targeted throughout this game.
So who are the Panthers viable?
Well,
targets?
the Panthers, I know that you don't look at Anderson as a viable receiver.
No, I do. He's a decent receiver.
And Christian McCaffrey is going to
well,
catch
but if you're
balls
going to count
out of the
Christian McCaffrey,
backfield.
then I'll count Kareem Hunt.
No, I'm actually saying it works in your favor. That works in your favor.
Yeah.
I think the Browns, because they have 2 targets, two real viable targets.
Yeah.
I think you're just going to see run, pass to Njoku. Run, pass to Njoku.
Yeah, I don't know that the Panthers have any more viable targets. I don't agree with that because you mentioned McCaffrey as their 3rd viable target. I'll say Kareem Hunt.
He will be in their top 3 pass catchers Sunday.
Who? Kareem Hunt.
McCaffrey.
Yeah, and so will Kareem Hunt.
I hope.
Potentially.
I hope.
Yeah, and also, I mean, if we're going to count, and then beyond that, if we're going to count any of the other Panthers receivers, like Rashard Higgins, well, Donovan Peoples-Jones, I could count him too. So I think both teams have equal amount of contributors.
Okay. What's number 2?
We ready for question number 2? This involves the running backs.
All right.
Will Nick Chubb have more total yards than Christian McCaffrey on Sunday? It was not unanimous. Let's see the results. G. Bush, the lone Nick Chubb stand here. G. Bush, you want to start?
I just think he gets if they want to win, and I think I'm picking the Browns to win. I think Nick Chubb has to have like 150 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, but he could have 150. He's not going to get many, if any, receiving yards. That's why I picked him, because he could
That's
have
why
150 rushing, and
right.
McCaffrey might have 170 total.
I think Chubb will have more rushing yards than McCaffrey.
Yes, it was just rushing yards I'd bet on
Yes,
Chubb.
but total yards,
Right,
Chubb's a
McCaffrey could have
non-factor.
80 receiving yards.
Yes,
I think,
and he probably will.
So do you think about this? If McCaffrey has 4 catches for 50 yards, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a slow day for him.
4 for 50, that's decent. It's 11 a pop. Plus he got about 80. That's still 130.
Right.
So you're saying Chubb's going to go for more than 130?
Oh, he has to.
That would be a good sign for the
He
Browns
has
if
to.
he does.
If they don't go for that, they're not
If
gonna
you're
win.
right
I'm
about
with
that
you on
one,
that.
if you're right about that Nick Chubb has more rushing, more total yards than McCaffrey,
Browns are gonna
Browns
win.
win
Oh,
the game.
there's,
easily.
Yeah.
listen, I think that is the key
Yeah.
to this football game.
Like the Browns could still win if McCaffrey has more total yards than Nick Chubb. I can't see the Panthers winning if Chubb has more total
I
yards
can't
than
either
McCaffrey.
because he's their guy.
Yes.
I mean, he is their workhorse, and
Yeah.
you heard Jim. He's healthy,
Right.
and he spent a lot of time this offseason talking to guys like Marshall Faulk on how to keep your body in shape.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of the injuries, fortunately for him, he wasn't tearing ACLs.
Right,
he didn't
right,
have
right.
major injuries.
Just
but
a lot of nagging injuries the last couple of years.
Yeah. So,
right,
I think that's really the thrust of number 2, right?
Yeah,
Unless
that's-
anybody else.
It's the only way. It's the only way that I see that the Browns have a path to winning. But this, and so I said,
See, I think they can win even. I don't think Nick Chubb can't have a bad game.
Right.
If Nick Chubb has, 14 carries for 36 yards, yeah, it's going to be a long day.
Please don't even
But
say
I don't think he has to have more total yards than McCaffrey.
I got
for
a
them to
pit
win.
in my stomach
Yeah,
when you
that's
said
not
those
gonna
numbers.
happen. That's not gonna
or I better hear Kareem Hunt got about 97, 98 yards, and he got 14 carries or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I came off on that.
Okay. What's number 3?
Let's go to number 3 and hit the receivers again. This one, a little bit of a fun question, but will Anthony Schwartz have more catches than drops?
I think this is
against
going to
the
be
Panthers?
unanimous.
Nope.
This was the unanimous.
I thought so.
wow.
I thought so.
I thought you guys were all going to be on the other side of that one.
No, I figured that we all were going to say yes. You know why? We all want him to have more catches than drops.
And just because
And he damn well better.
I just feel like the drops have been so overblown. We've made such a big deal about it, and I don't know. I think I'm just gonna have a hunch he's gonna be really focused. I don't think he's gonna have a lot of either.
Even if he has a drop,
He's
He's going to get a catch.
He only needs 2 or 3 catches.
Right.
Right.
That's
That's it.
why I said this was easy
But
for
here
me.
is
It was the
quick.
easiest one for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me present evidence B to the equation. Look at the graphic on the screen. This was the last preseason game against Chicago. 3 drops, 1 reception on 6 targets.
Yeah, it's preseason.
Yeah.
I mean, it could.
And by the way, he's been hearing that every day for the last 2 weeks.
So do you think that makes it easier for him, or now is he going to be in his head even
We're
more?
gonna
It's like-
find
it's
out.
like free throw shooting.
Just like we're going to find out, what kind of person and competitor Amari Cooper is.
Yeah.
We're going to find out if Anthony Schwartz has NFL medal.
If he's mentally tough.
Because
And
he's
by the
been
way-
hearing it for 2 weeks. If he goes out there and self-fulfill prophecies, dropping footballs all over the place, you got to think about releasing him because
Right.
I don't care if he's your draft pick or not. The idea that all 24 of Andrew Berry's draft picks are on the roster, I think that's a bad thing. I think that's a bad thing because at some point you make mistakes. We know where they are. We've seen them. And if you're not willing to admit your mistakes and try to correct them, it makes it worse.
I tend to agree with you, but he hasn't been here that long. Like,
No, I know
I'm
he
trying to
hasn't,
think of
but-
a draft pick. Schwartz might be the best, but is there
Schwartz,
another
for me,
one?
Schwartz is the best
'Cause
example.
I can't think of another guy that's like.
But I
he
just don't
shouldn't be on
see
the team
giving up
anymore.
on a guy after 1 year.
I agree.
It's
That's
1
why
year.
I said I wouldn't cut him. It's not time.
He's gonna drop 2 passes this game. I'm gonna tell you that.
So you got
You
him
think?
3 catches,
He'll
2
catch
passes, 2
3
drops.
because screens count. Bubble screens, all that count.
I'm
You know
saying
what might
no
determine
drops.
it? What might determine it is what he does on the first target. Because if he drops the
Sure.
first target,
He's
Jacoby Brissett might be like, okay, dude,
We just heard
no.
Tim Couch talk about that when
Yeah,
he was
absolutely.
on before.
Yeah.
About,
Yeah.
sometimes
Quarterbacks
he hesitates going back
process
to
that.
him.
Yeah, he gonna get one in the
But-
first and one in the second.
But I mean, right there, how many targets is he really going to have? I don't think he's going to have that many
5,
targets.
6,
5,
maybe,
maybe.
1
I'd be
quarter.
surprised if it was even that many.
You know, one thing that you would want to do if you're trying to soften the defense, like they're going to run
First
the
play.
ball, we know that. So you're going to want to stretch the field at some point, and he's the guy you stretch the field with.
Yeah.
That's why I giggled when Jim was talking about they're going to tear the top off with Baker and they want to take shots down the field. I'm like, yeah, well, we heard that before.
Yeah,
we
have
heard
heard
that
that
last
before.
year. They
That's
couldn't
true.
do it.
Yeah.
All right, wow, we're flying through this.
Well,
We're
the next 2 I think are going to lead to the biggest and most heated discussions
all right.
here.
I think the third one will too, to be honest.
Well, that was the third one.
We've got 4, 5, and 6. I think
the third of the remaining.
So the
three.
third of the remaining.
The last 3 were the big 3. So
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's hit this one, Mike. Let's take it. Will Myles Garrett record more sacks than the Browns score offensive touchdowns versus Carolina? We all talked about the points everyone said about
Wow. I thought I was going to be alone.
Jay.
Wow. Okay, so I'm shocked at this. I thought for sure someone was going to join me.
Yeah.
This was hard.
It was
a hard
hard,
one.
and I
It was
was
tough.
originally I was a yes.
I had to get off the fence because I was originally like 2-2.
Yeah.
And
And then I was like, I gotta pick. I gotta
this
break
was
the
the
tie.
hardest one for
Yeah.
me. And what I ultimately decided was that I think both are going to be high numbers. I think the Browns are going to score 3 touchdowns. I think
wow.
I think Myles is going to get 2.5 sacks. I think he's going to be in on a third.
Yeah.
And you know, so often and I think you said this earlier this week, and it's very true, when the media is always saying the same thing, and everybody's saying, well, you can guarantee this is going to happen. This is the NFL. Mm-hmm. And
It never goes
it
the way.
never goes that way. And what everybody has been saying universally, from ESPN to the NFL Network to the local media to the Carolina media, man, this tackle's in for a long day. Mm-hmm. He's in for a long day. What usually ends up happening is they're either going to give him more help than they're planning on giving him so he doesn't, because they don't want to humiliate this kid in his first game.
Right.
And I know that Jim said that, Matt said, well, yeah, we're gonna give him help, but we can't help him a lot.
Right.
They're gonna help him all they need to help him, because it's very important for his development that he doesn't go out there and get boat raced for 8 sacks.
Right.
So I think Myles is gonna have a great day, but I do think that the Browns are gonna score 3 touchdowns.
I don't know why I feel this way. I just get a feeling like he really might be knocking on the sack record this year. It sets up that way, right? I look at it this game. I look at the games where he's playing the Jets. Then you got the Falcons. If he can come out in this game and give you 3.5, 4 sacks, he's already off to he might have a record-breaking season. And it sets up that way because Baker will hold the ball. Baker will roll into sacks. Baker kind of does not have the vantage point of being tall enough to stay in the pocket and deliver because he gets a lot of balls batted down. I think he could potentially have 4 sacks in this game. And they won't all be just because he's destroying the left tackle.
Right.
It'll be because pocket awareness, pocket presence, and running it. Because I saw it, I'm like, Baker, just step up, bro. You got the lane, throw the ball. I think Myles Garrett is going to have a monster year. I really do. I just think he's silently confident about that too.
I think you're high on 3 touchdowns.
You do?
I think you're thrilled if you get 2.
Yeah.
If they get to 20, 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals.
That's where I got him at.
That's why I think you hope that's enough.
I got
to
him
win
at
the game.
21, but three touchdowns.
3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So if you factor in 2 touchdowns, the rookie tackle, like we were saying, and the fact this is week 1, he's healthy, he's rested. He's not beaten up. This isn't week 12, week 13, where you have the wear and tear of the season.
Sure.
I think I meant to look this up, but I think historically he has big games in week 1. Mm-hmm. Probably because of
His
what I
first
just said.
snap as a pro, he got a sack.
Yeah. So I think just the fact that his legs are fresh, he's feeling good, he's not beaten down. I would take 2.5 to 2, 3 to 2. I think it's going to be close in terms of numbers.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to score very many offensive touchdowns, so it's not going to take very many sacks for Myles.
Yeah, I got Myles Garrett with 3 sacks and the Browns with 2 offensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
I have them winning the game 23-17. 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals in this game. I do think a lot of times when everybody thinks it's going one way, it will go the other. I talked about yesterday, the public is all over the Panthers in this game. That's why the line, I think, is off. I think it should be a pick 'em, or maybe even the Browns a slight favorite. I think it's way off, and that's why the sharp money is on the Browns in this game. Same thing in Seattle, Denver. I think the Browns are going to throw more than you guys and most people expect, because I think nobody expects them to. I think they'll throw a little more than we expect.
But that's not who they are.
They have the
Well,
great tendency. Though.
I'm not saying they're going to throw it 60% of the time.
They
I'm
have
just
to
saying
break
they're going to throw it
some
a
tendency.
little more than
Yeah.
we would guess going in.
Yeah.
I agree
And-
with that. I think they're going
right.
I've
They're
got the
gonna try
numbers to show you. You've
Right.
got to throw the ball if you're going to win in the NFL.
They want teams thinking about their passing game so they can dominate on the run. And I think in this first game where they know they're playing a team that's not a great offensive team, I think they're going to try to do it that way. But the one thing that I think everybody thinks that's going to happen is I think this left tackle is going to get his ass kicked. And because, as you said, fresh, start of the season. You talked about Myles Garrett first games. I think he's going to kill this guy. And as G said, Baker walks himself into sacks. He holds the ball too long sometimes, and that could be a problem.
You know, the danger of predicting that a record is going to be broken before the season starts.
It's crazy.
It happens a lot. I'm sure there's other examples that you guys could give. The two that jump out to me was, I remember when Randy Moss went to New England, everybody said, well, that's a wrap.
Yeah.
And he did.
And he did. That was crazy.
And another time that I can think of it actually coming to fruition was when when it was obvious that Barry Bonds was no longer human, guys were predicting, well, McGuire's record is definitely going down because I don't care if they walk him 100 times, and they did, 200 times.
Yeah.
Bonds is going to break the record, and he did. Yeah. But a lot of times, guys go, you'll hear media members say, oh, he looks great, he's going to break the record. It's a record for a reason.
What is the sack record? 20 what?
23 and a half. I don't know what it is.
21 and a half. I'll get you one sec. But I think
That was so cheesy.
Strahan,
it's an illegitimate record.
Yeah, it was an illegitimate record.
Brett Favre gave him that.
Favre fell
it's
down.
22 and a half for the record.
22 and a half.
There's games.
But there's 17 games now.
Right.
So
it's 17 games. He had 16 last year. Most of the half last year he was injured. And I look at the fact that he hasn't really done anything in training camp. He ain't played in nothing.
Again, Myles Garrett's issue has been he's never full. Most years he's not fully staying healthy for the full year.
Yeah.
He has some nagging things. He's got to be consistent all season. Instead of just great for some of the season.
Right.
If he's going to get Defensive Player of the Year, this is the year.
This is it. He's got to dominate all year.
It sets up for him, especially the first 4 opponents.
well, Donald's still there.
Yeah.
TJ's still there.
Yeah.
I mean, there is stiff competition for that.
There is.
You know what I think helps him is that this award means something to Miles.
Oh, yeah.
He talks about it.
Yeah.
A lot of guys don't want to talk about personal accolades or accomplishments. He'll tell you, I want the record.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that.
Yeah, I got no problem with it. It motivates. He uses it to motivate himself,
Sure.
I think.
I want to bring something to everyone's attention. Let's take tag board full real quick, Mike. Is there a first 4 quarterbacks with more sackable faces than the 4 quarterbacks the Browns will face in weeks 1 through 4? I mean, Baker Mayfield, Joe Flacco, Mitch Trubisky, and Marcus Mariota. There's not a 4 more sackable bunch than those 4.
That's pretty
Joe
good.
Flacco is playing. They are.
I can't.
That's a group of kind of punchable faces. I mean,
Very sackable.
Yeah, these are.
Baker Mayfield's got the most punchable face. I mean, I'm not doing it because I'm too old, but
I can see 10 sacks right here.
Mitch Trubisky in that picture looks like my man Hayden Grove. Do you guys know Hayden Grove?
Yes.
I do, yeah.
Exactly
I don't
like
think
him there.
it's funny. I don't view Trubisky as a retread. I don't. I look at Trubisky as a guy who was a victim of a horrible offense around him in Chicago, who had some great moments and a great season, and then made the weird choice to go to Buffalo for a year where he knew he wasn't going to touch the field unless Josh got hurt. But I'm telling you,
nobody else wanted him at that
I know
point.
that you're dismissing Pittsburgh. One of the storylines that I think will be prevalent by week 6 is the fact that Mitch Trubisky has the Pittsburgh Steelers in a spot where not many people thought they would be.
I don't know.
Because that defense is great, and I'm telling you.
I don't buy that it's great. I think it's overrated again. I mean,
No,
we're all used to saying Pittsburgh's defense is great. I don't see where it's great.
Well,
I think
up front, it's great.
I think they got a really good defensive line. I don't think the rest of their defense is. I mean, who's
We'll
good?
see.
Their linebackers and their DBs. Who's so good?
I think Trubisky's going to shock everybody. We'll revisit it at week 6.
I think in their back 7, the only special player they have is Minka Fitzpatrick. I don't think there's anybody else.
And he is very special.
We'll be visited week 3.
Yeah, no, we will.
And I don't know
whether we want to or not.
If we're not going to call Trubisky a retread, then we can't call Mariota a retread either.
No, Mariota's with his second
he's been
team.
with multiple teams.
He went to the Raiders and sat.
Yeah, he didn't really. You didn't see him.
He got the same thing as Trubisky.
Yeah,
but this is only Trubisky's second team.
You know, if
it's his third
team. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Same thing.
If you look at Mariota's
Mariota had
stats,
his moments just like
his
Trubisky had
stats
his
are
moments.
almost identical to Baker's. Like they're the same guy.
Yeah, I mean, Trubisky didn't do anything in Chicago. I don't know how he made that Pro Bowl that one year. He wasn't that. If you look at his
He
numbers,
had good numbers. No, he had good numbers.
They weren't. He had like 22
He was the
touchdowns
second
and 12.
all-
Well,
in that
I know,
Pro
but
Bowl,
look
though.
at what they did. That Chicago team, he wasn't
They
slinging
won
the ball
games,
all over the
but
yard.
it wasn't really because of him. He's good with his legs, but he didn't have a great completion percentage. He didn't throw a ton of touchdowns. He threw double-digit picks.
He's one of the players I'm most fascinated to see how he does in a new environment. I'm really, I'm not sold on the fact that he's going to be this washout guy that people remember from his last year in Chicago.
If the Browns ever want to be good, we can't be sitting back waiting for Big Ben to retire. You waited on Ben, he retired, then you get a new retread.
Nobody's scared of Mitch Trubisky.
No, they got to go get that.
Okay.
They got to get that.
Yeah.
Put that on the week 3 docket to lead the show. Because
If he's still starting then.
We have two
you think he'll
questions
be benched
left.
by then?
I mean, it
Man,
could be.
We are wildly in different corners on Mitch
If he
Trubisky.
plays crappy the first 2 games, he could be.
I don't know that they're ready to throw Pickett in there as
We'll talk about Trubisky
rookie.
and Pickett in week 3, but we got
Okay.
two more questions
a lot. Okay.
to address in this week's matchup with the Carolina Panthers. Let's take the next one here. Question number 5. Will Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt both be in the backfield
great.
for at least 2 plays on Sunday? This was not unanimous. The only one who trusts Stefanski.
Bull, you hopeful soul.
that
you.
Oh, I don't trust Stefanski at all. I'm just saying he better freaking do it or I'm destroying him on Monday. Well, if the Browns lose and this doesn't happen, Kevin Stefanski's getting an earful from me. I'll tell you that.
He probably won't listen, but you're going to
Well,
you're going to
everybody else will have to listen.
You know what? The tricky thing for me was in the backfield.
Yeah.
I think.
I didn't take note of that specific.
I did. I thought you were being tricky with your words.
No, I was just trying to get a 2-back set. Like a 2-back
Yeah, like
set.
if it had been worded, will they be on the field for more than 2 plays
That's how
together?
I took it.
I would have said yes, they will be on the field for more than 2 plays together.
I don't even
but
think
they're
that's
not going to
happen.
both be lined up behind the quarterback.
Okay, I
don't
took
think we'll
it
ever
as if
see
will they
that.
both be on the field
Not
for
going to
2
happen.
plays at the same time.
Not
G.
gonna
Bush
happen.
is saying not going to happen
Not
regardless.
gonna-
No,
gonna
he
happen.
probably is
We
right.
have no evidence. Like he hadn't done it yet. He's not
There
gonna
is
do
no
it
evidence.
now.
I am trying to be proactively positive and say Kevin Stefanski's got to freaking wisen up and be smart wise up and be smart this year and be more creative. So I'm hoping he does it, even though you're right, he probably won't.
I almost get a sense with Kevin on this issue
Yeah.
that he's almost just defying everybody.
Because we all want it to happen.
Because everybody's screaming for it. If he
Yeah.
does it, then he looks like he's a puppet to the fans.
Right. And if it
the
works,
media.
then we're like, well, why did you do it before?
Exactly. So
That's not a reason not to do it,
You
but
know,
it
Marty
feels that way.
Schottenheimer was notoriously stubborn like that, and it cost him his job here. And I always hated that because Marty was a great head coach, and Art gave him the ultimatum: you get an offensive coordinator in here, or you're done.
Yeah.
And Marty walked.
You can't live life on an island. You can't. I don't care who you are. If you don't listen, even if you were the king back then, you listen to the hand of the king, right? You hire good people around you that tell you the truth.
You watched a lot of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, of course I
You
do.
watched The Dragon?
Hey, but of course. Oh, listen, God.
I haven't watched this weekend's episode.
You got to go get it.
Tell me.
Game of Thrones, The House of Dragons. Oh my gosh, great. Go watch it. By the way, if Kevin Stefanski had dragons, he wouldn't use them. He like,
Because everybody would be telling him to use them.
You have 5 dragons in the pit. What are you doing? You could burn them up. You could burn King's Landing. No, just send foot soldiers.
I must be watching a different game than everybody else because I see a head coach who's actually fairly creative and making runs look like passes and passes look like runs and doing a great job of
I'll
scheming
co-sign
guys
that.
open. He didn't have a quarterback who could get the ball to the guy who was open.
That's true.
So
but
it
he has
wasn't
been
the play calling. It wasn't. It was never the play calling.
I
There was
agree with
dudes
that.
open all over the field.
I
but
agree with
not-
some
couldn't
of
get
that.
him the ball.
There were
Jason,
times it was the play.
I don't disagree with you, and I think we're not really talking about play calling. This is more play design.
But I'm saying if what he's doing is working, he didn't have the guy who could get the ball where it was
I
supposed
agree
to
with
go.
that.
So
But I
it doesn't
also-
matter if Kareem and Nick are. I would like to see it too.
Yeah, I
but
think it does.
That's
his
why I'm saying
formula
I think-
is working if you've got a guy who
Right.
could actually get the ball to the friggin' guy
well,
who's
he
open.
still doesn't have the guy right
Well, you
now.
make it sound like his completion percentage was 40%. He was getting the ball to the right spot plenty of times.
There were plays where guys were open down the field and Baker's checking down.
There's plays
Over
where
and over
every
and over
quarterback does
Yeah,
that.
I know.
And not every quarterback is completing every throw.
But we're
when you
making
look
it-
at the percentage of Baker's completion, his completion
bad.
percentage, see, everybody says it's bad. What's a great completion percentage for a quarterback?
Anymore, it's around 70%.
Okay, what was Baker's?
like 62.
Okay, so in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
There's a
it's
lot
like
of guys.
a batting average. Like people will say, well, 280 and 260, what a difference. It really isn't.
No, but in the
That's a
NFL,
huge difference.
there's a lot
it's
of quarterbacks.
8 more throws per 100.
That's a
that are
big
completed.
deal. That's 4 completions per game,
It
basically.
is, but it's
You
not
guys want
like
the numbers?
he's
I have the numbers right
48%.
here.
You
Yeah,
give
go
us the
ahead.
numbers.
Joe Burrow, of all quarterbacks who qualified, Joe Burrow led the league last year with a 70.4%.
Yeah, I figured he was at 70.
Oh.
That's not, but that's the bar.
He was the only quarterback with a QB completion percentage of 70%.
Yes.
Of starting quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield ranked 26th at 60.5%.
Okay, now what was the average? That's what we want. Because you're giving me the bar.
Give me a sec to do the math.
I mean, he's
but-
been.
No, you can find that.
In his career, he's been one of the worst quarterbacks in the league completion percentage.
He's not good. He's
No,
not,
but again,
when you're
with
talking
that number,
26, there's 25 dudes better than you.
Right, but you're talking about, like, if the difference between 26th and first is 10 percentage points, I'll give you this. You'd love it to be 70, but it's not like it's 48.
Well,
it's not like there's
average
a huge
48.
gap.
I got you. The average completion percentage for starting quarterbacks in 2021 was 65.6.
Okay, so that's
But it's
That's pretty well below
it's
average.
65% to 60%.
But
It's not like it's 20%.
But you have to look at the ones he's missing. If you are setting something up as an offensive coordinator and you get a shot play and it's open and you don't hit it, you've worked 2 quarters to
missing
hit that.
4 passes per game.
That kills you.
G. Bush, to that point,
Yeah.
every quarterback in the league is doing that 3 out of 10 plays. The best quarterback in the league
Right,
is
but-
still missing his guy 3 out of 10
No, that's
times.
not true.
It's at least incomplete. He didn't complete the
You're
pass.
not. Jay,
so there are
but
drops that factor
The bottom
into
line
that.
is Baker is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league in terms of completion percentage.
That's a fact. That's a
Yeah.
fact. What
Yeah.
I'm telling you is
Yeah.
to characterize it as he can't get his guys the ball. That's not true.
Well,
comparatively to the other quarterbacks in the league.
If the
Comparatively-
difference, again, between the bar and Baker is 10 percentage points.
But when games are decided by
By
3
3
points
po-
and less
or
than 2
2
points,
points.
and
Every
less,
play
it's
counts.
a huge
You're right.
gap. It's a
You're
huge
right, but
gap.
it's when you put it that way, you make it sound like he's completely incompetent, and that is
Well,
why
last year
the
he was.
offense
No,
has
no, 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 no,
stalled
no.
all along.
No, I don't
and
think,
that's it's never that way.
I don't think he's completely incompetent. What I would like to see, I don't like some of the play designs or the
I can agree with that.
formations, right? And I'll just say, when you go look at other teams, right? If you're, I like McVay's playbook better. I like Andy Reid better. I like Shanahan better. I like. I actually like him for a running team. I even like the Tennessee Titans playbook better. And what I'm saying is, when I watch other teams, there are people wide open. When the Cleveland Browns play, you tell me one person that's wide. They got to work for everything. They got to work for slants.
Which is why
They-
maybe he's hitting
Post-
60%
I disagree with
instead of
that.
70%.
They working on.
There are not guys
NFL.
running wide open. To
There
that
ain't nobody
to your
running open
When
like
I watch
that.
Green Bay, when I
Open.
watch Tampa Bay, when I watch any Josh McDaniels, when I see these offenses, I'm
I've seen
watching
you
going,
name all teams with
they're
great
playing-
quarterbacks.
Yeah, but when I watch them play, I see they're playing a different sport.
It's a different-
How are these
it's a little
guys? We
different.
never have
guys
guys
weren't
that
running
wide
open
open.
in New England last year when Mac Jones was the quarterback.
No, they weren't. But Mac Jones was a pretty good quarterback.
Hey, this leads us right to our last question. So
All
let's
right.
do our last
Oh, yeah.
question, and it continues this conversation.
Yeah.
Mike, let's punch it up. This is going to be the most contentious of all of them. Will Baker Mayfield throw more interceptions than Jacoby Brissett throws touchdowns on Sunday? And the answers: a real two-way split.
Oh,
tag
the
team
wrestling
on the yes
team.
side.
That's great.
The nasty boys.
I don't think Jacoby Brissett's going to have a touchdown pass because I think they're going to have 2 rushing touchdowns. And so all I need is 1 pick from Baker, which is that's a slam dunk. That's easy money.
Or
I
if
tend
it's
to-
a push me. There was a push me no.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
a
push,
push
is
is
no.
no.
Yeah,
Push is
I got to
no.
push.
There's no push. This
Because
is
it
no
was
fence
Willie.
riding.
No. If it's equal,
If it's
then
Yeah,
it's a
equal,
but
no.
no.
the way it was
Oh,
worded,
yeah. Push is a no.
you
Yeah,
should have been
yeah.
worded, which will happen.
But then it doesn't fit the yes/no model.
Yeah, those fit
Yeah,
Yeah, I
You're
know,
right, a
but
push is no. So,
So,
G, if you think it's a push,
I
it's no.
think it's a push. It's 1-1. I think
Yeah,
he throws
that's
for
what I
one.
thought, too.
Yeah,
It's
throws
exactly
for
what I
one,
thought.
Throw 1 pick.
I thought or 1-1 or 2-2.
If you bet every Baker Mayfield game is he going to throw a pick, you will be rich.
Yes.
Because more often than not, he throws a pick.
And if you bet every Browns game that they will score at least 1 touchdown through the air, you would still be ahead.
yeah, you still.
They're still
right.
averaging more than 1 touchdown through the air per game. As bad as they've been, they have.
I don't think.
Right, but with Jacoby Brissett, I think they're going to have. I think it's going to be rushing touchdowns.
Listen,
Yeah.
it's troublesome. But if you're going to beat up Baker for his 61.6 career percentage,
Which is deserved because it's bad.
Jacoby's worse.
That's why I wanted Jimmy Garoppolo.
Unlike your,
I want a pony for Christmas.
unlike your absurd defense of Baker on the completion percentage, when he's clearly one of the worst in the league, we are not defending Jacoby Brissett's completion percentage.
No, but what you're saying is he's going to complete. He's going to throw touchdowns.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm saying they're going to run touchdowns.
You said that he's going to have more
Baker's
throwing
going to have
touchdowns.
more interceptions.
No,
We
the
said
question
Baker's gonna
was
have
what
more
will be the higher
interceptions.
number? Jacoby Brissett's throwing touchdowns?
So he has to throw one.
No, I said it was going to be Baker's interceptions.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I said Baker only has to throw one because I don't think Jacoby's going to have any passing.
You know what? If they don't throw for a touchdown in this game, I think it's a terrible sign moving forward. I do.
I mean, what if he makes some nice plays down the field, but then Chubb runs it in for 2 yards?
At some point when you're at the goal line, and typically the way touchdowns are scored are inside 10 yards and in.
Yeah.
One of the things that drove me nuts last year about Stefanski was that offense. Because the year before, I thought I saw a lot of creativity inside the 10. In fact, he was known for that. Folks were saying, wow, this is kind of like Andy Reid light. And then all of a sudden, and I don't know why, but last year, it just felt like my son was calling the plays.
Because I think last year, I think 2 years ago, he had more trust in Baker, and he lost that trust in Baker as the year went along. Yeah. And that's why they ran. I think it's that simple.
Well, what changed that he lost the trust in Baker?
Baker wasn't playing well. He wasn't making good decisions.
And there was one other thing that changed from 20 to 21.
Yes, he was hurt.
Right. So if you know your guy can't get it done inside the goal line, you put someone in who can.
That ship has sailed.
How do you know it was his decision?
Listen, if that wasn't his decision, we're all in trouble.
Oh,
Just saying, how do you know it was his decision?
If Jimmy is making the call week to week on who he wants to see start, and you're absolutely right. I had someone tell me who thinks they know, by the way, that Baker played last year because Jimmy said, I got to see what I have.
Well,
if that
I've said that
true,
all year.
I know.
They had a $350 million decision to make.
Think about how troublesome that is if that's true. Man, we've got Jerry Jones as our own.
Yeah, that's a disaster.
I got more troublesome than that. I'm telling you, Kevin Stefanski was like, oh, okay, you're going to play yourself right out of this position, right? Here you go. You want the money? You want that bag? We know you hurt. Who cares? Here's the playbook. And you always
us making the playoffs be damned?
You really think they would have made the playoffs with Case Keenum?
That's what Case Keenum. He was better than, right?
Bro, they finished one game out of the playoffs last year.
You can't count the last game.
Well, you can because they won it.
Well,
no, but the Bengals didn't play any of their starters, so you don't know what would have happened.
Disappointments where they were that close,
right,
and they didn't get it done. I'm telling you, I think that everybody's looking at the chasm between the Bengals and the Browns as like they're way up here and we're way down. And that's not true.
I don't think the chasm's that big. I just think you can't count that last game.
Right. So what I'm saying is, I'm sorry, Stefanski's an adult. He's not going to, for the sake of making a point and running Baker out of town, going to blow up his playoff
I don't agree with that.
chances.
I agree with you on that, but I don't think Case Keenum's any good as a quarterback, so I don't think it would matter.
Baker was still a better option.
I think Case Keenum was a better option than a hurt Baker.
Probably, but I don't think significantly better.
Did Case Keenum play that poorly when he played? I don't think he did.
He played one game, they won.
No, I said watch him against the Bengals. That's how they should have been running the offense all year. He made a decision, got the ball out quick.
We got to bring Aditi in. Aditi!